Let's move across. We'll leave the chief cultural officer for last, but let's go across to Shelley and Issa Banda. You, Shelley, started off at the St. Mary's Academy, won the crown. How many times? Junior Monarch?
3 times.
3 times, back to back to back.
Yeah,
I
actually started at SMP. I started.
Oh,
singing
at
at
SMP.
yeah.
Okay.
And but when I started winning, I was in SMA already.
Okay. Yeah. As the professor, then.
The professor.
Then you went to the big league.
Yeah, I did big league for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Did one of the years as a guest appearance, and I went to go and study. And
we'll get into that, how you manage both study and music at the same time. And then Issa, we know from the Granby Secondary School, has always been doing his thing. And I remember the first hit song of Issa Banton, incidentally, used to be playing with Wade Kule. And when they brought that, actually, it was Granby. Well, no one knew. And then we did play it. And when I saw Granby hitting those Bubbles International or something, Bubble City. I went crazy. But you guys, you were able to create all your own style of bouillon. And that's what I love about Issa style and also Signal style. It is now distinct. You can actually feel a different vibes of Signal. You can feel a different vibes of Issa. Let's go with Issa first. You were able to come on the heels of what was there before, and you would have listened to, I guess, those guys before you, and you decided to create your own vibes. Tell us about how that started.
Yes, man, definitely. I mean, I just want to take a time out to just pick up the originator.
Yes.
You know? DERICK.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, as a young boy going to school, I mean, any young boy in Dominica should have known and heard about, bouillon music and that WCK, style of music. And, growing up, there was a guy named Clickly Bantan, bring me into that music thing. But just understanding it and seeing what those guys have done before us. That's why I always tell them, Wadix, I cannot tell you how bouillon was created. Because those guys that created bouillon, they are alive still and they ride their with us. And as Ras rightly said, is a generation of wealth. So he's passing it on to generation. And he's still there to educate us, But I decided to take it a different direction with my own style, But the rhythms are still the same. But in terms of the lyrics and the party and the vibes, and I can take it and export it to the world. So, so that is Issa Bantan's style of bouillon, different. But the rhythms are still the same. It goes all the way back from when it first started, and from the lyrical concept of, because back then, rap music was a lot of stories. And stories
storytelling
go
way back to sleep.
Way back that you, but then the entire world can identify it. You understand? So when Issa Bantan come, I decided, I'm gonna keep that same storytelling thing, but then I can even do it in a party form. So when I say the boy is sick like flu, the boy, so it's still like a storytelling, but on our same bouillon rhythm. So big up to all them producers, and as Ras said, you can see now his son is actually making some of the biggest rhythms in Dominica. So we there to stay, we up front, and when Issa Bantan goes outside there, is to push bouillon music. I don't push nothing else except bouillon music, because that didn't you want to repping the Dominica flag.
Yeah.
To push bouillon music, and right now bouillon music is at the forefront. It's at the forefront right now. The other genres taking things from bouillon music to put in their music. So I mean, Issa Bantan, and that is what I'm all about. As you could see it, as from Ra, Mr. Littleman, the bouillon boss, Shelley, and I always say bouillon music in Dominica is a relay. They pass the baton and you go with it. But they still have to stay on the side and coach this scene. You understand?
Respect.
Yes, man.
Shelley, how old is Signal?
Signal is 13 years old.
13 years old. And after you left St. Mary's Academy, that's when the band formed. You were part of the formation of the band?
Yeah, I was part of the formation of the band in 2010. And I was actually in SMA. I was in third form at that time. And I remember Mr. Elwin giving me the famous speech.
The late couple.
Yeah, Mr. Elwin, the famous speech of, focus and don't go on don't neglect the school for the music. I remember that he saying that, that was one day when I asked to go play Creole in the Park. That was our first Creole in the Park experience, and I told Mr. Elwin I need to not be in school that day because we're playing at 12 o'clock or something like that. I said, Mr. Elwin, we open in the park. I have to go. He told me no. Next day I stay home and I go and play in the Creole in the Park.
you make a two back.
I make a two back. Yeah. And I mean that was the point when I was transitioning into Booyah music because I'd been singing calypso for all the time before, and at one point the band felt that I was a good image, but also felt that I had a stagemanship that Booyah needed and a singing ability and all of that. That's what the band members saw in me and pushed me forward.
13 years after, you have created a particular style, a brand of Booyah music that quite a bit of the people, imagine old, young, all the generations can actually gravitate to. Tell us about some of the ingredients, the formula behind that style.
Well, really and truly, I don't think I created it, to be honest.
A brand, a particular brand. Signal about brand. When you hear the music,
there's definitely a distinct sort of quality to Signal Band that I think is as palatable to all audiences. When we make a song, we figure that we don't want that song to be stuck in a particular place and time, a particular country, or a particular age range. And when we see songs like our last song, Stronger, you see like a 4-year-old saying, never said in traps. And you also see the granny dancing to it. That means the goal is achieved. So we don't have to worry about the people from 25 to 34, because if the young and the old feeling it, you already know that you're covering that entire generation in between. And that is usually the goal for music, is how can we be palatable to all audiences.
Asanra had the ability to use a lot of storytelling and things that are wrong us, wrong Dominic in particular, and tell their story on the rhythm.
Yeah.
But you guys seem to be using and fusing quite a bit of the R&B elements and different type, a brand which is more possibly exportable in terms of, let's say, the younger people can identify with it because they know some of those R&B songs.
Yeah.
It's a particular brand.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the realities is because we were born into that younger social media generation, we kind of just feel a little more, we feel like we have a little more leeway to explore the new songs and we're born into the keyboard world, rather than the accordion world. So when we came into the game, we just started experimenting, and we were behind the scenes a lot before making rhythms, and I made some rhythms for Asa back in the days, and
from Calypso too.
Calypso too. Calypso
Serious? Yeah, because Asa made a Calypso.
Yeah, head of state.
Producer.
So, but we were experimenting all that time. So, and now I think we have come to, as you said, we have found that niche and found what the Signal sound is, which I think took some years.
Yeah. Absolutely. The little man, once again, welcome. By the way, congratulations. I saw you got another degree. I saw on Facebook.
Yes. Masters in management.
Masters in management. Well, we want to congratulate you, and I know the rest of the Booyah family would like to congratulate you.
Thanks.
But then you again, was it Ra that brought you into raw rhythm? I mean, I only heard of you and music in raw rhythm.
Well, let me start by saying my good mornings and happy birthdays. Yes. I didn't get my opportunity to do that.
No problem. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my journey professionally started with raw rhythm, but even before that, I must make mention of the whole RSB family.
Oh yes,
the RSB movement, which was really in my backyard, and through me spending time there and other bands coming and practice there, I got exposed to other musicians. So people like Aford Laffer was really the one who knew me and pointed out that, check us out, come by whatever. So that was my entry to raw rhythm. And then of course we nurtured that, got the tips, got everything, and I just developed from there.
You also, you're a producer.
Yes.
And you produce several artists. You also do your own stuff. And record artist. Tell us about that little journey.
I mean, I work with everybody, anybody who's willing to work, any artist. This year I worked with ICN from Maho, Nikki Beef, of course, Daily Nai, the usual suspects. Last year I did stuff with Ecstasy, with Benji, Thickberry, and a couple others that I probably forgot. But I try to spread it out and work with everybody. That's always been the case.
The chief cultural officer, how can you use that platform now to further amalgamate all the Booyah musicians and artists? If you heard from Rara, it's stuck in unified, which could possibly bring the genre further. Possibly have a federation. I know Issa tried a few times to actually have a one entity under one umbrella.
Mm.
I think it could make like how the Calypsonians do. They have
Ah.
they have their own association,
Mm.
and every Calypsonian kind of benefit from that, and possibly have one of the biggest shows ever, I believe.
Mm.
I mean, though we have one this year, but a Bouillon Festival for Carnival could be a major attraction if everybody on board. I believe that, especially know what the Bouillon music is doing. How can you use your office as a chief cultural officer to possibly, amalgamate all the artists, all the energies that dealing with the Bouillon, from the junior monarch to the emperor, all in between, to get a one force going forward for Dominica?
Well, most importantly, and Ra touched on it, there has to be the cooperation.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has to understand what the vision is, what the goal is, what we're working towards, and understand that it wouldn't come immediately. Some might benefit a little more than others, possibly because they pull in more weight, possibly because they already have the reach and so on. But if we know the goal we're working towards, it shouldn't be a problem. The other thing, again, Ra mentioned is the idea of passing on from generation to generation. And I mentioned that at the Calypso Hall of Fame, and it didn't seem to go down too well. But
I will,
but that's
allow
the
it,
reality of it.
I will allow you to explain.
That's the reality of
I will
it.
allow
You
you to
must pass
explain.
down to other musicians. Sheldon can tell you that in my time, I worked with him as a younger musician coming up, and we have to keep doing that. And I know they're doing it with other musicians right now. That is just how the chain has to go.
Okay, absolutely. Ra, coming back to you, Bouillon music during your time, I remember, especially during the original whole Too Many Cooks era, Befla from Serenade era, we was making it big. I mean, especially the French Antilles, France. What was the impact then? And we can deal with Caribbean and globally of Bouillon music then, because I remember seeing you guys in Guadeloupe during the summer, and I'm with 10, 15,000 people on, when RCI used to organize. It was a massive impact then. You had the first bite of, let's say, Guada. Then tell us about that particular part of the history.
Well, when we were supposed to do that Guadeloupe thing there, boy, the other guy called maybe you're familiar with the guy
Jean-Michel.
Jean-Michel Belgium, and this guy was literally begging the band to come to Guadeloupe. I tell the guys, boy, this guy have been calling me for how much time, boy? Let's respond to the man. Let's go over there because there's a big market over there. And some man is like as if, well, I don't know what is the vibes. It had stay home dumpling kind of a business. But they were doing that kind of a stuff. Then finally, he called me. I tell me, something. Call me. I go into the band house. And when I go to the band house, you talk to Smokey. So when he rang, I passed the phone to Smokey. He spoke to Smokey, and Smokey decided, oh boy, well. And so when we did that, and we did something called a partition. And that took off right there, and as if, well, the whole Guadeloupe just opened up, and this guy saw us in Saint Martin, because Saint Martin is like French and Dutch, so French guy, and that just opened up. And besides that, the whole Caribbean, especially Saint Lucia, the vibe, because when we come out and thing, DBS wasn't really pushing. That thing is when we did that Culture Shock album and RCI Holy album, as Alsha,
Marcellus
right,
Miller.
These guys had a transmitter, and when they managed to, and of course they were singing like that time we didn't have thing like Q and Kyrie and all those things. It was
just
the DBS. And when them band was singing crisper than DBS, and when you have your liquor radio and you put that on and that song in there, you just want to listen to RCI. And RCI was the one that pushing that thing, and DBS had no choice but to follow suit. So we have almost a similar situation, but now going over that, we have to understand that the music have that power. And that's what when we went to St. Thomas, we couldn't play. We couldn't play first. Jamban had to come and play before us and make us play in the center because now people ain't coming and listen to us. There's Jamban. So by the time we pick up the groove and we start to hold it down, and when we went to St. Thomas that time, we play a place, I think it's Coral Reef.
Yeah, Coral Reef, yeah.
Coral Reef or whatever they call it, Coral something.
Yes, that's a
Coral World or whatever, something like that. And we played. when we played on that side and I see the kind of a crowd, I say, whoa, yeah, we open up them fellas. And another experience was like, Aswad is one of my favorite reggae bands. And I dig in Aswad from since I was a youth, Aswad was playing in New York, I remember around 34th Street, somewhere around that area there. And we had just finished do the like the Labor Day season. When I see the crowd that Aswad was able to pull, and I see the crowd that we were able to pull, I say, no man, we're right there on the scene. So that brings us right back to the scene to see, well, how powerful the music is and how we develop, you know what I mean, how the band music, you know, which is Booyah music, as like they take it to the world, you know. So
I remember you guys were. I remember myself and the late 82 Long was discussing that you guys were already on charts in Europe.
oh yeah,
WCK music was already, I mean, because we didn't have the internet then. But the late Eddie Toulon, the first executive director of the DFC, is a guy that had the connections, and he once told me that you guys were number one on the various charts in Europe.
yeah, but of course, even talking about like New York as well, WLIB,
Yeah,
we were
WLIB.
big in WLIB. I mean, of course, London, Choice Radio. We start to already open up the scene, you know. But I think some people know how to embrace success, but I think some people don't know how to embrace success and to move with the vibe, you know. Like me, I know that's what I wanted to do all my life. I mean, I've been playing from 7 years. I be on stage, and from 2 years, I know what I wanted to do anyway. So that is what I wanted to do, and I always check it on a professional level. You know, watching fellas like before me, fellas like Freddie and maybe Gordon, all those guys there, and watching how the man was really
Jeff.
checking Jeff, yeah, looking at the music on a real professional level. So I never really take it for like they call it a game, but I never really look at it as a game. I check it as a business, and I know exactly where it could go. So anybody that would come around me, I would teach to them that way there, how to take it on a professional level, you know, because as you could tell, I mean, especially write a song and I check myself, hey, really true. Export the boomer like it's banana, but I mean, we don't have much banana now, but I mean, so you can really do it like exactly banana, but no, we really have to export it because it's an industry and we have to really, and I mean, it's doing on a level already, but no, we really have to do it bigger. And of course, we need the powers that be to put their weight behind it. Because I mean, a time they say, I don't want to go off tangent, but no, a time they say they had a little change up in the bank and you know, musician and can get it and stuff like that. And when you had to get it was you had to do a ring a rosy, skip over the ocean, dance over the sea, and up to now, you know, you still the guy in, you can't get it because you're missing this, you're missing that, you're missing that. And I think it's very unfair to the musicians that put so much effort in it. Like for me, I could talk for me definitely that I spend a lot of my savings into that industry because I know what it could do. I mean, I get some kind of a return, not like money in my pocket, but I could see the growth of Booyah music. And to me, that is some gratification and some satisfaction to me, seeing how the Booyah music has grown.
Okay, let's go to Asa again. You have done something different and unique in the sense that prior to your scene, you come into to the industry, it was more of a band, you know, from WCK to Serenade, the way of Wassing Warriors to go up to Triple K to present. But you came in as a solo artist, I guess, alongside Nai and Skinny and those guys, and you did something different. You actually took the Booyah music and broke, you know, the barriers, firstly around the Caribbean and even further afield. It was a difficult road, I would imagine. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even want to say how difficult it was. I'd prefer you say how difficult it was to be as a solo artist. And in a competitive musical environment, was able to penetrate and to bring Dominica's music that far.
Trust me, trust me, trust me. It was really, really difficult because in that time, I don't think nobody could make it as a solo artist in Dominica. If they're not part, they have to be part of a band that was running things. But you know, the CKs and them was running things, but the CK and them still have their problem. They still have their problem until today. You understand? So that is why they can have all Booyah festival, Booyah this, but unless the real original people that start the Booyah and the people that are some of the biggest hits in Booyah not there, it still doesn't to be big. It's still not the same Booyah festival, the Booyah, whatever, the Booyah this. You know what I tell you? So in them time there we have about a 3, 4, 5 CK plus the original DERICK. You understand? And then you have Triple K them time at Triple K still there, still on top, still doing their thing. They're still on top, and them Triple K hot. And we have so many bands, and even before the Triple K, you see about
Rough and Ready, Impromptu,
that band
Effects band.
You know, so it was just bands and bands. Even I come from Granby, it's band all chubby, and then everybody's band, nobody's singing. And I say, you know what? I look at the CK because CK was my band, you know. So that is my band. And I say, boy, watch how that band so powerful. And bam, one man leave the band and the band just sink. Like the band lose, like a stock market, the band lose value. And then you have them other guys, you know, like Nai and them come in now and give the band another brace again. And then more problem again in the band. I say, nah. Ace are not going down so. A keyboard is not going to decide how far I go in.
No, but that's important for us to understand, yeah?
You know, a drum are not going to decide how far I go in. A bass man, a band not going, and a band is, and we need a band. But I want to work with every band. So I can use because every band in Dominica have backed me up. Lickman backed me up already. Signal backed me up. Triple K backing me up. I have my own band backing me up. You know what I'm saying? So if that band not available and that band have their problem.
Plus you also do playback.
And if it comes to where nobody, like all bands have problem, me and my DJ rolling. You understand? And there are certain events as well where it don't require a band. Where the promoter tell you, well, I don't need a band because it's in a club and certain thing. And you know, I still have to go and do the people's work.
Yeah.
I have to go and push Dominican music. You know, so at the end of the day, that was one of the things I say, boy, bam. I want to be Asa Bantan. Because when you identify me on the stage, you're identifying Asa Bantan.
And you still have band your band.
Because why not?
When you see that band in it, the band. So you have your own band.
Because when you look at Ra, I always tell him the three most powerful letters in the alphabet in Dominica was WCK. Either people sing Ra, and when they see him, they don't see Derek Rappert, they see WCK. But that is what they remember. You understand? That is why some artists now that left a band, when they came back and tried to make it as an artist, it's difficult because you're still looking for the bass man. No, I like that keyboardist over there. When they get, I know the same thing. No matter who behind me, it's Asa Bantan. So that was one of the things that I took into consideration. And then I came, started to do my thing, push myself as Asa Bantan. The same Bouillon music is the same, it's the same product. And as Ray was saying, and I'm gonna tell it to you, and I'll say it live on radio. Bouillon music is the biggest and the number one exporting product out of Dominica. Nothing at where the bell. You just ring a bell there for them.
Shan.
You know, because I'm traveling all over the world.
The boss want a bell. Get a bell or something
You
for
need
him.
the effect.
What's that mean effect? Get an effect for him. Shan.
All the things that we're making in Dominica, all the local products.
Yeah.
I go in Spain, I never see the no shelf nowhere. Not even our water. And I'm a trap it to Brandon Bassett.
Yes.
Understand? That we need to start to export our water too.
Yeah.
And have it all over the world. I doesn't see none of our things. Banana England, banana used to go.
Yeah.
Bouillon going everywhere. We Japan, we Dubai, we everywhere in all islands around the Caribbean. Everywhere, all in the United States. We take over Europe. Bouillon music. And even when we, the artists and the bands, we going to perform. You don't say Asa Bantan from Grenada or Asa Bantan from the Caribbean. Asa Bantan from Dominica. And when we come, we come with Dominica, our Dominica slang. Imagine I have white people and people that cannot speak Creole saying, Papa met. Papa met. And then after they ask me, what does Papa met mean?
Yes, 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 yes. You see, this is important for us to document, and the authorities can possibly yes and see how they can use. And that's why it was very important to have Earl Sinivers, because he is also a technocrat and he works for the government and partly head of the cultural department, which encompasses music. Uh, Shelley, you are an architect by profession and also musician. And how do you balance the both to be so out there, because it's also very important. You never know what can happen to the music. So you have your degree, and by the way, you got your degree from Harvard,
Yeah.
one of the top universities globally. So we have to congratulate the brother. We have to congratulate the brother. I mean, yes. Ready bell, ready bell, ready bell. Give us a bell, man. Ready bell. Right. Give us a shack or something. A guage. A guage. Because I mean, how do you get the time to balance between writing calypso, playing for Signal, and those days you are at the front, no stash around for the time, and still focus on your occupation?
Well, I'll correct it there. I'm a musician by profession. I'm
Yeah.
a creator by profession.
Create.
A creator. I went to design school, and I usually tell people, like, believe it or not, a lot of the things that I do in music these days, or even the way I think, is because of my education. I usually we just see the education as you go to school, you study architecture, you learn to draw. That's not it. I think I learned a way to think. And in Harvard, for example, Harvard wasn't a school that taught us to go and work for people. Harvard was all about going out there and be the top, be the 1% in your field, and be present something of quality, that then you employ people and all of that. So at the end of the day, I do find time to do, actually I specialize in architectural acoustics. So
What's that basically?
I've
What's
kind
that?
of left the architecture world and now study how does sound behave in buildings. So that is right adjacent to the music, and how does sound behave in buildings. Specialize in performance spaces, recording studios. What is the quality of sound in those spaces, and in terms of finding time, Alex, I'm not finding time, to be honest. We all have the same 24 hours, to be honest. You know, I'm not the best person at time management, but I am maybe the best person at mind management. I manage my mind. I don't really manage my time. I do the things that I want to do at the times I want to do them, and I prioritize. I know that for sure. I will be honest. Music is the most important thing to me right now. That's the most important thing to me. Everything else is secondary, and that's where I pump most of my time. And then I start to split that up. Some of that goes to Signal Band. Some goes to my personal development as Shelly, because as Issa say, Shelly don't want to Shelly don't want to lose Shelly because of a guitarist. Shelly is still Shelly, and I started singing by myself. So I also have, that is the business model I set up in Signal Band. A lot of people see us and talk on the road. Sometimes they see Shelly there and the band not there, and maybe trying to create problems are not even there. But the band understands the business model, and that's the most important thing. So then the calypsos for the youths, or any song for youth, I take pleasure in doing that. I make sure I can. My pen has a lot of ink right now, and I don't want to keep that ink for myself.
You also write for Shanice.
Yes, I write for Shanice this year. I also wrote for Web, so I have 2 songs in the Calypso finals this year.
Wow! Congratulations, Bell again, Bell.
Yeah.
Abu, your artists have 2 songs in the when the Shack no man and 2 songs in the finals. Yeah, get a Shack no man, Shan. Because you see,
Yeah, the one. Yeah, man, pass that.
we have 2 songs in the finals.
Yeah, man.
Okay, we'll come back to we'll come back to Signal, because I want us to, before we leave, talk about how Signal has been enhancing the carnival product, because you yourself you have your band on the road, you also have your own branded event, likewise Asa Bantan. But when you look at when you see all that energy, Ilson, that energy taking place in the Buyo world, in particular in culture, in entertainment. You see quite a bit of the young people. The Buyo Monarch, Junior Monarch was just, I think, best ever.
Yeah, man.
I haven't seen any junior or any junior organization have an impact like that. On Dominicans and even the Caribbean people. When you see all that energy, how can we fudge that and get our authorities to see culture more than just a stepchild? I know it's a difficult road, because it has been like that for
Yes.
generations. How can we use that level of energy and, like Isaban was saying, use that export to allow the authorities to understand how important that the culture of a nation is?
What is a mindset. It's something you have to understand and something you have to believe in. And sometimes we say the right things at the right time because we have to. So we can say we're going to invest and we can say we're going to push and we can say how important culture is and how important the arts are and so on. But the proof is in the pudding, as they say, and your action have to reflect your words and your commitments and your promises. And I think we have some way to go when it comes to understanding the viability of the industry. We know to ourselves, we look at other countries and we know sports and entertainment are billion-dollar industries, but we
Jamaica,
still
when you
still
look at
look
Jamaica,
at it
Trinidad.
as a lazy man that don't want to go and work in an
Yeah, man.
office will play music, and it's the furthest from the truth. So that's what it is. Just to touch on another point, well, you say you brought me as a technocrat, I say, but I do feel like I represent that side of it fully. I also see myself as a musician. So again, with what Asa said, I still try to ensure that I have done more outside of the WCK circle. So you would see like production wise, working with artists, so on. In addition to the suit side of it, for want of a better word, where yes, I represent the
Management,
the
of
management
culture,
side
yeah.
of it. But I want to be, my goal is to be balanced, to do both, and not to be seen as just the keyboardist that leave WCK for the rest of it. I mean, I think I'm more offer than that. So I'm here not just as chief cultural officer, but as a musician.
One of the things I was very impressed with is what Shelly and Trilogy did, and what Rise doing with his son and that little band. You can see continuity,
Of course.
and growth.
We need that. We need that.
You know, but Ryan, you had the ability, I guess, to nurture your son from birth to now one of the major producers. He has his own band, I think, in a core circle.
In a core unit.
In a core units.
Yeah,
In a core
yeah.
unit. There was a band name in a core circle.
In a circle.
In a
So,
circle,
yeah,
right.
so
In a core
as we
unit.
go in there's like circle with it about that.
I mean, which is like an incubator, you know, for producing young musicians, young artists, young musicians to the world.
Well, most definitely one of my goals and aspiration was to not just have booyah music and have it under your bed, like caban in it, you know, like caban mango caban. It wasn't like that. I had the idea that the most people that we can bring in the genre is better. So you could bring in bands, you could bring in individual artists, you could bring in like producers, promoters. For as we talk about promoters, you know, a lot of people know Emil DePuta and stuff like that, but I just want to bring him in the game, man. I brought him in the scene, and sometimes you having interviews, and sometimes you know it go, you know. You check, so that's how it go. But c'est la vie, you know. And slow bringing in people in the game was most important. I remember the time Shelly and them, what did ban all your DTP? By name?
DTP, yeah.
DTP.
Delany
And the
them
man used to become an Ajmal was playing engineer that time. I tell him, you know what?
DTP meant what, by the way?
disturbing the peace.
A band name disturbing the
Yeah, man.
peace?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really disturbing me, you know what I mean? Because I tell Ajmal when he come, them guys gonna come. So that is what to do. And so I know maybe he wasn't too hot, but I tell him, you were responsible.
Yeah, man.
You're so about what?
Move some
7 or
feathers.
8.
Yeah.
So he come
So
in.
you mean at the time they were about 7 or 8 years?
No, well,
I'm a
Shelly
nice
and him was a little more advanced,
Advanced.
but he was a little youth, you know,
Yeah,
in
not
SMP,
younger,
you
yeah.
know. I think by that time he was in SMA.
SMA, yeah.
Right. So I tell him, well, you know, you're responsible. You know, I go to my house. So when them guys come, they'll switch on everything, put on the mid switch. And, you know, basically that was what. I know he wasn't too hot that time, but no, I was just exposing him to everything. Because when he started off, he started drumming. And I thought, okay, you know, everything there, whatever you want to play, play. So after I see jump on a keyboard, and they had a show a time in SMP. He man tell me, oh, you want to do a bit Phantom Heavy. I tell him people to come for that. And, you know, as well on his keyboard, he ain't playing nothing hot, but now you're there. And he's keyboard, he's cut them. And the whole idea was to bring in as much people. So people like the guy with the commercial and stuff like that, you know. I remember when I brought the guy up to the band house. And people out there may know or may not know. The guy Gale, you know Gale, right? From Mao, right? When I brought him there, man, some man started to cheer me on both sides of the mouth. I'm checking about what Mr. Conjack, who bring the banner, and so and so and so. But before you know it now, The guy was at the back there doing samples and so on. That same sample, that is what had went on Bunji Garlin and Marshall thing, right? So, and the man was toying with Marshall,
Marshall, yeah.
and on stage and everything.
And
So-
as a matter of fact, COVID-19 stopped them from a major tour, world tour.
okay, so you see the kind of a vibe that was going on there, you know. So that is what we're talking about, you know. It's not to keep it to ourselves, you know. The bomb of Bouillon and the concept of Bouillon is like everybody can get a plate. And Shelley was making a point a while ago there where I can remember exactly what it was, and you know, I was thinking just the same, because it's a vibe that going from generation to generation, and we shouldn't stop people or trying to be a stumbling block in people's way. For instance, they have that show they're going on there, and I saw maybe talk about it there in the Coke's factory or whatever, and you see the kind of a business going on there. You know, it's like you're making Cokes without Cokes. You know, so basically, that's the vibe. Don't laugh, behave yourself also. Anyway, what I'm saying is that do not be a like Shelly have the tune, you know. The devil said in traps for you, do not fall for it. Is that how it was, right?
Fall for it.
Don't you fall for it.
Yeah.
So that's why it is, you know, do not set traps in people's way. If you cannot help a man, do bring him down. Lift him up.
Ron, will we see, I mean, some collaboration or return or some, you know, I think yes, you know, I mean,
Reunion.
listen. We don't need the reunion. Reunion 18 was a
Yes.
serious reunion,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So we can maybe just dump in reunion 18 to be
Yeah,
something else.
Yeah. By the
But
time
then you
88
see-
years old.
You see, I'm going to give you a slight thing, and I have brought it up several times. Zidane and Thierry Henry were not friends.
What's that?
Zinedine Zidane and Thierry
Yeah,
Henry
yeah.
were not friends.
Mm.
But whenever they put on the France jerseys, goals, and as a matter of fact, they brought France a championship.
Right.
Because the most important thing in the locker room, I'm going to say hello and hi, but on the field is a different thing.
Well, it's
And
about
all
teamwork.
you,
Teamwork.
and all you both sides have children and grandchildren that all you can actually leave whatever you can make for. It's the band that did something unique. Trinidad market is not an easy market to penetrate. You have done so and actually represented Dominic at the Uber Soca. Tell us about the experience and what it took.
I mean, it was really different, something different. It was a great experience. I was the only Dominican artist on the boat, entertainer on the boat, and up till now, I still am the only Dominican entertainer on that boat. But it was a very, very good thing that I was on that boat, because that is what that really started to change the whole tide of the I would say the power soca and the full recognition of the bouillon music. Because on that boat, we have all these artists from St. Lucia representing Denver segment. Then we have all these artists from Grenada, about 5, 6, 7, 8 of them representing Jab Jab. All the Bajans are representing the kind of bashment, bring bang, bashment soca.
Ring bang,
We have-
bashment, whatever.
We had all the VI, Virgin Island artists, representing their calypso and Bram music. And then you have all the Trinis, and a lot of them. You have those groovy artists, and then you have those power one representing soca music. And I was the only Dominican there representing bouillon music. And I will tell you, you know, with my performances and by just they not knowing who I was, but I had a lot of fans on the boat that people that know who I am from the USVI, you know, I'm Antigua, different places there. And when I came and I mash up that Uber Soca with Do Something Crazy. And that's what I always say, big up to you, Nora, because some of the biggest songs on the boat, whenever the biggest songs on the boat play, you'll always hear balance. So that was always a footstep. You understand? That is why I never believe in making the keyboardist and the drummer and the bassman throw down the name or throw down the product. So Asa Banton went out there. And then, you know, as the Wet Fed King went out there and performed, and, you know, performing is one of my strengths. And by just taking over the Uber Soca cruise, you could see all the different artists and you know, the different entertainers, the DJs that would never play a bouillon song start to look for what kind of genre is that? What music is that? Bouillon. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then right after the Uber Soca, the calls start coming in. people start asking me for rhythms and to make remixes of my songs and to
Even
and then
collabs with
and we could see certain songs such as that song from my boy Mr. Killer. Pick up something wrong, run with it. Have that bouillon, flavor, element, performance, and go down Trinidad and run things in Trinidad. And I got numerous calls to perform in Trinidad, but the dates that I was
The same
getting
time with
was
Dominica.
same time with Dominica. And I choose country over foreign,
Yeah.
But
How are you able to
Carnival,
sustain that kind of energy all night, boy, sir?
I think I born with that, right?
But Granby have the communities don't have.
What Granby have?
Yeah. I have an idea. Tell us also. Tell us.
Herbs.
Chubby said that for true.
Yeah, man.
You know, Chubby said that to me in Barbados once.
I think it's not only herbs, I think it's spices,
Spices.
Because if you watch Lobster, you can see if you give Lobster a chance, Lobster will went down and bash up the whole place like others,
And come back down again. Shelly, you and your band, Signal Band, had the ability. By the way, I must big up your management crew. Liam Sebastian and Jelani, you guys have a strong management team. But you have the ability to add to the carnival product by having 2 major events. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Illumination was birthed 5 years ago. I remember that we were planning Illumination right before Hurricane Maria hit. And we had to make a big call to do Illumination or to not do Illumination. And the purpose of Illumination was firstly to put Signal in a bracket because Signal was seen as a little small band for a few years, and I don't think it was wrong. We were still trying to figure things out. But when we started figuring things out about 5 years ago, we were like, sometimes you have to create the perspective for people if they don't want to see it. When people see you host an event and add value to a carnival product, immediately they start to see that little boy as a big man now.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, but the man doing big things, man.
Yes.
So that was one of the important parts. Overall, it was to add to the carnival product. When we thought of Illumination, we thought of Monday night. Illumination was meant to be a Monday night glow fete. I think they have that in Grenada on the Monday night or carnival night. Lots of lights, glow sticks, the headpiece lighting, all of that. But because of the hurricane, carnival had to end at 6 o'clock that year. So we figure we cannot light nothing at 6 o'clock. So we end up making Illumination a Juve event. And that's how Illumination was really birthed as a Juve event. It started like that. And, just 2 years ago, again, we were like, how do we go to the next level? Because the plan was always Illumination going to be a 5-year sort of project. And then we move on to a costume band. And the main purpose of that Wadix, to be honest, no, at this point, I'll be honest, no offense to any promoter, but as an artist, there has to be at least 1 or 2 points in the year where you cut the middleman and you be the promoter. You be the promoter, does it a breakfast fete, and while it will serve many other purposes, the fact is cutting the middleman is the promoter. We cut in the middleman, we are the promoter. It will do other things, obviously, for country, for community. It will enhance. It will give other artists a chance to showcase themselves because it's not just you on the shows. You have DJs, you have other artists. So it's a thing that contributes into the economy either way, and it have an ecosystem in it. But the fact is, as an artist, sometimes the gig to gig money wouldn't always cut it for you. But if at one point in the year you can say, because there's a reason promoters hire you, so sometimes you have to take that leap of faith in yourself and say, I'm going to put up X amount of thousands of dollars and let me see how much I can make on that, on myself, as the model.
This is brilliant. Wilson, you're hearing all of this, and you have taken a different stance now, part of the carnival thing. Asa also have a big event. I think. What's the name of the event, Asa?
Sunrise.
All things are progressing, by the way.
Great. That's one of the biggest event for carnival.
It's Saturday morning.
No, it's Saturday morning.
It's Sunday early morning.
Friday into Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Yes.
Saturday what time?
Saturday it starts from 11
Friday night,
and then ends at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning.
Okay, so that is
in collaboration with DFC and the Ministry of Tourism.
But Elson, let's get back to the bouillon music. We know of the challenges. All of us know the challenges and how important it is for us to come together. I want to challenge you to and I can be available for assistance. Let's do a symposium.
Mhm.
Get all the technocrats and we need some common understanding. Let's do a bouillon symposium, see where the genre is, how we can take the genre to the next level. Fellas come together and for once, let us discuss around a round table the bouillon music and how we can go further. And a possible federation, a possible association. Ilson.
I think that has been attempted in the past,
Yes.
and I mean the results speak for themselves. Eventually, you will find personal agendas and so on. That
Egos.
doesn't make it work out. Yeah. I don't know. There are different ways. What I notice is a lot of what Buyo is doing it organically, meaning is doing it just by the sheer might of the music itself, not without an association, not without things. So imagine if we had that, but that's just a dream. We talk about things like the lyrical content. I mean, that is something I haven't been vocal on because I have different views on it.
What are your views on it now, by the way?
Huh?
What are your views on it?
I can see both sides of the fence.
Mm.
Of course, we have moral responsibilities, we have social responsibilities, we have kids to raise and so on, and we don't want to expose them to certain things. On the other end of it, I see it as artists seeing a working formula and making a living off it. And in a case like that, I do totally blame the artists because you have to give the consumer a certain level of responsibility in that as well, because people are consuming it. What they're going to do?
Yeah.
So I can use myself as an example. I've been producing music because, as I said earlier, I don't want to be known for the rest of my life as Liquorman that used to be in WCK. So I've been producing music, and we have people who say, "Boy, we fed up on that. The lyrics not good. With this, with that, with that. We need some good music. Make the good music. They don't consume it." That leaves me with what? 3 options. It's either I make music for myself and 1 or 2 musicians to tell me, "Boy, that song tight," or I follow a trend, a market trend. Because you can say, let's say, for example, KFC not going to sell vegetables not because somebody say they want steak. You go in and make steak and the whole country want bakes. It's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either I stick to it, stick to my principles, stand my ground and say, I'm a musician, I'm a this, I'm a that, and I'm not making that kind of music and leave the music for me alone.
People at your home.
To play at my home for myself and for a couple other musicians.
Your mother will like it too.
Yeah. Or you study a market, you see trends, you see patterns, and you make a business of it, or you leave it alone completely. Where we're going to get a problem is where people decide to leave it alone completely.
Rah. How can we forget our egos, forget our problems, forget our challenges, and think of Dominica first, the music, the Cicero flag? And I know it's a difficult one because problems and but sometimes in life we have to face reality and realize what each individual can do to elevate themselves, their families, and the country. Are you open to being part of any discussion for some reconciliation? Are you open to being part of something that you were part of at the beginning? No, because four of us are here.
No, you see when you say it there, and I have Mr. Baby there. You see that guy there? They call him Ilson. You see that fella? They call him Ilson. 2 of us really cannot be in the same room at the same time.
I understand.
To be honest,
But you can,
he said I can't behave. Sometimes you have to tell me behave, right? Okay, because that does just go on automatic. Eh?
I know.
Yeah, that's run into automatic certain times, right? But the ego part, I think everybody born unique. They have certain things about them. But again, now when you're working with a team, you have to think of the team and what the team needs to really achieve or accomplish, right? So certain things now you just you have to just tone it down. But Ulson could maybe attest to it that that I've tried many times. I sacrifice a lot.
Are you willing to try one more time?
Well, the one more time.
Pray
Well,
about-
the thing
you
is,
can pray about it.
the thing is, I get some love letters. I get all kind of a thing.
No,
And
but
even
then
the things that was written on it.
Uh-huh.
And
But
I
then
mean-
for the music, for the country, for
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something, Alex. Yeah, the type of letter that I got and the kind of things that was in it after I made all that effort. You check. I think to myself that's very hurtful. As a matter of fact, that was right on the social media, and a lot of people heard it.
Is it more hurtful than when your father died?
Yeah,
It is more hurtful than that.
More hurtful than when my
Wow.
father died. You
Wow.
check when my dad died, I felt it. But
that letter was worse than
yeah, that really wasn't nice. That was uncalled for. That's like not healthy. That's not when you have empathy. That's not when you're thinking of righteousness. That's not when you're thinking of justice. Not when you're thinking of equity. Not just equality, but equity. What belongs to someone? I think I felt
Can
I
that
was
ever
robbed.
within your lifetime cannot ever be fixed?
Well, so long that the Almighty have His hands in it, and it can work because we pray a lot, yeah. But we go church and we pray a lot, and the priest say we must pray and everything and or wherever the pastor or the imam, whatever, and we pray. But the bottom line is, he tell you, well, we need to fix the roof. He don't go and just pray. He passing the plate around. So same way that certain things need to do, but it comes with that, and it's the respect.
I
It
must
lacking,
say,
it lacking in the
I
respect.
must say, because we have to go now, and
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to give you
We have
guys
got
the
to go.
final moments. There was a formula.
Mhm.
There was an experiment which worked,
Yeah,
and it continues to work.
Yeah.
And you are seeing some of the major technocrats getting it to work, and even some of the others that we didn't have here. We'll continue that discussion on another session sometime later. But there was a formula. Something is working.
Yeah.
And it is currently working until the chief cultural officer asked for more of it to be involved in the calypso.
right.
So it is working.
Oh yeah,
Can we use that formula first and everything else second?
yeah. Because you see me, I've went to like numerous meetings. As a matter of fact, when people wanted certain things done, or they're thinking of the band, they come to me first. But I say, well, I need to talk to one of the two, right? Like
You know what
put
we
it
can
to-
do? So we can talk to a bricks or one of them priests to get to see if we can mediate. Okay, are you agree? Are you agree for that? Let us get a priest.
There's a
We are going to
saying-
bishop.
There's a saying
Is that you have connection with the boss? Let's get the big boss. Let's get opposition leader. Let us talk to this guy for Dominica.
There's a saying what you can't beat a dead horse. I mean,
Okay.
if that is where it's at and the ship has sailed, we have to respect that.
But Rise open, Rise seem to be open.
You find that?
Well, he haven't said he's not open.
Well, he hasn't said that.
He haven't said he's not open.
What I say is sometimes, when you go through the hurt and all of that, sometimes you put certain things behind you and you just move on. And you
I
try
know,
to-
but
you
then,
try
but
to do
then, but at the end of
different
the, at the end of the day, you continue to see the fruits
things, yeah.
of your labor being manifesting, and sometimes other people could be picking the fruits for free. Okay, let's have the round the final words from you, Shelly, then Issa, then I saw you pick mango from other people feel. I saw you did that.
No, I asked them if I can make sure.
In my thing in Grand Four, what's the place over there? Grand Four in.
Grandpa didn't ask much mango.
Okay, all right, let's go. Let's go, Shelly.
Yeah, first of all, Alex, thank you for having us. In advance, want to wish everybody a happy Buyo Day.
Yeah,
Wish
on Tuesday,
everybody-
right?
On Tuesday, next Tuesday. Also, wish everybody a safe carnival, safe, enjoyable. Enjoy wherever you go, and big up all the creators of Buyo music, in the past, present, and even in the future. Buyo to the world. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's about time, the boss.
Yes, man. Big up yourself, Wadix.
I hope you use your platform to get that together, sir. You have a big platform.
Big up yourself, Wadix, because Wadix is a man always fighting for music. It don't matter whether it's Buyo music, Carlos music. Wadix always want to see musicians together and want to see the culture and the genre push forward. But Wadix, as we say, as I gonna tell you before I leave, the unification have to start from the top. You understand? The unification have to start from the top. We in the middle, we're doing what we have to do. The Buyo music, it's out there. We're doing what we have to do. As Elson just tell around a while ago, it's a dead horse. Remember Titanic sink, Titanic not coming back, and you see 5 man go and try to see Titanic and they die too.
So, hold on a while. I'm going to give you a proverb. Okano kikule pakapesho dot navigate. Listen.
Alex, let me just say, pleasure to be here today, man. I think you brought me in as Chief Cultural Officer, and even on the flyer, because I see you have Esteban and Shelly and Wilson, Chief Cultural
Mr.
Officer.
Madman.
But then,
That's Mr. Little Man,
but then we expose the other areas which feel.
Yeah, so I mean, in wearing the different hats, I know I have to speak to certain matters. So pleasure to be here, and Buyo to the world, like Shelly said.
Yes, Ra, final words.
Oh yeah, well I want to thank everybody for being here, and I'm really proud of how the Booyah Music has really, developing, innovating, and it's just reaching out to the world. I'm very thankful for everybody that participating, even the unborn,
Yeah.
those that before us, because as you know, rightfully as Shelley said it in a different way, Booyah Music is one that bridges the generation gap. And he said it in a different way, meaning that he could touch the older people and the little baby in belly as well. We really want to keep that vibe going, apart from all that kind of stuff that going on there, because it come like as if that's not really important, because Elson said it right as if it flogging a dead horse. I mean, if you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, we have some time there to really put the people on them that are ready to, willing to work, ready, interested in seeing Booyah move. Let's get those people together. Who want to be out of the equation, keep them out of the equation. You know what I mean? Because I'm always willing, because that's my dream. Because while other people abandon the ship and go into other stuff there, we stayed with it. We stayed with it and make sure that Booyah Music survive. So that's why, I spend the type of money that I spend in Booyah Music, because I could see the potential and what it could do. So I'm really thankful to the youths and them right now, and it's Booyah to the world, as we say.
Thank you, guys. I mean, I really hope you can take a picture. You can take a picture of this guy, so be somewhere so that we can, because for posterity, for records. I think it's the first time we assembled about how many years? That's around almost 80 years of music together in one room. But it's important, guys. I think unity have a power, and I always believe whatever the mind can conceive and believe, one can achieve. We have something going. It is good and it is powerful now. I think now is the time to put it together and harness it and maximize. Because when you see it leaves, something else will come and replace it. Prince Wadix, until the small thank Mr. Gregoire and the QFM family. Thank you very, very much, DJ Shan. Until next week, Prince Wadix, may God bless you. May God bless Dominic.
Well, if you want too much of this stuff, they can't stop you. Do what you want. Go, 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 go.